Welcome back. So you have this question, find sine, cos, tan, cosec, sec and cot for angle A. So the first thing is we have to find the angle. So that's angle A here. And therefore we got to identify the hypotenuse. That's the hypotenuse. Now if this is angle A, then we are looking from here this way. So that will be the opposite side. And this will be the adjacent side. We're just going to call that A. We're just going to call that O. Right, and now you want sine, cos, tan. So it's important for you to write down so, ka, toa. Now you want for angle A. So you'll say sine of angle A is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cos of angle A is equal to, cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Tan of angle A is equal to, tan is equal to opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. And then the next three will be the inverses. So you have cosec A, which is equal to H over O. Sec A, which is equal to H over A, and cot A, which is equal to A over O. Now to find the answers. O, for angle A, O is 5, H is 13. A over H, A is 12, H is 13. O over A, O is 5 over adjacent. Adjacent is 12. Now, for the next three, they are inverses of these. Inverse means inverses. I-N-V-E-R-S-E. Another word for inverse is reciprocal. These two words mean the same thing. Right? So, inverse or reciprocal. These two words mean the same thing. Inverse or reciprocal. So, the inverse of that will be the opposite of it. Pendula or upside down. 5. Invert. You invert that. Invert this. 13 over 12. Invert the last one. 12 over 5. Alright, so that was your first example. Now we're going to move on to number 2. We're going to give you a few seconds to have a look at that before we move on to number 2. Now a little note about number 1. In number 1 they only asked you to look from one angle, so it was very easy. Now we're looking at number 2. In number 2 they're talking about two angles. They're talking about P and R. Therefore we're going to redraw the diagram. In number 2 they're talking about two angles, so we're going to redraw the diagram. So this will be P, that will be Q, that will be R, that's 4, that's 3, that's 5. So, if you take the first diagram, we'll use the first diagram to work for angle P. So, firstly, that's the hypotenuse. And when we look from P, that's the opposite side. And therefore, this is the adjacent side. So let's answer the question for P, because they said for angles P and R. So we'll use that diagram to answer for P. So you want sine of angle P, which will be opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is 4, hypotenuse is 5. Then you want cos of angle P. Cos of P is A over H. If you're forgetting, you look at SOHCAHTOA. A over H. A is 3, H is 5. Then you want tan. Tan of angle P is equal to O over A. O is 4, A is 3. So those were the answers for angle P. Now we take the second diagram and use it for angle R. So firstly, that's your hypotenuse, and there's your angle R. So you're looking from here, that's your opposite side. So that's opposite, and this will be adjacent. So for angle R, that's adjacent, that's opposite. Now to find the answers, sine of angle R is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite for R is 3 over 5. Cos of angle R is equal to A over H. A is 4, H is 5, and finally tan of angle R is equal to O over A, which is equal to 3 over 4. Alright, so when two angles are involved, always draw two separate diagrams and work the answer out for each one separately like that. Then you won't get confused. Alright, so that's basically finding ratios where everything is applied to you. Now, after this, we're going to give you a few more examples where you'll be required to use the theorem of Pythagoras and then find ratios. Here, everything was applied to you. So let's get ready for number 3 and number 4.